Well, time to talk about the Soviet invasion of Japan, or better, the lack of an invasion. Now, to clarify here, we are talking about an invasion of the home islands, specifically of the northernmost island of Hokkaido. There were two Soviet landings in the Second World War, namely on Shumsu, which is in northern Kuril Islands, and Sakhalin. Yet, the home island invasion never happened. Now, let's look at the possibilities, the capabilities, and why it didn't happen. So first off, what was quite surprising for me, there were 113 amphibious landings conducted by the Soviets during the Second World War. Yet, there were several aspects which were important. Assault shipping was very limited. Additionally, they were usually conducted over a very short distance. As such, air cover was usually always provided. This was not possible in the case of the invasion of Hokkaido, for instance. And to put this in contrast, the Japanese in 1945 were very well experienced in defending against amphibious invasions. They stepped up their game after each successful invasion by the US Army and US Marines in the Pacific. So in Okinawa, Iwo Jima, they were always getting better and adapting their strategy and tactics. Now, why is this question there? Why is this discussion about the invasion of Japan with the Soviets going on? So originally, at the Yalta conference in February 1945, there were no plans for an invasion of Japan by the Soviet Union, by Stalin. Yet in late June 1945, suddenly, after Germany is defeated, well, forces are available. And Stalin is like, okay, I will also want to have an occupation zone in Japan, not only in Germany and Austria, but also in Japan. And he asked Zhukov, how many divisions, how many field armies do you need? And he says, yeah, I need 4 field armies. And each field army with around 6 divisions, so you need 24 divisions. Now, some of you might already go, okay, that's a lot. Because if you put it in perspective, for D-Day, there were 7 regular divisions and 3 airborne divisions involved. And for Operation Olympic, there never happened invasion of the southern island of Japan, Kyushu, which I covered in one of my videos. It were about 9 divisions. So you have 24 divisions, which is more than double that what happened before by the Allies, which were very experienced and also had a large, extensive fleet in comparison to the Soviet Navy, which wasn't particularly strong, well-known, or experienced in this regard. So as you can see, there are many problems. Soviet shipping is not sufficiently available. Additionally, they had no dedicated landing craft, or not in that numbers that the Allies had them, the Western Allies. Additionally, air cover in this case, it was too far away to provide fighter cover. And yeah, they were lacking experience. As such, the chief of the general staff remarked, this is just a dangerous and very impractical way to do. Don't invade Japan, don't invade the main islands. And furthermore, Molotov also noted, well, you know, we didn't talk about this in Yalta, so United Kingdom and the United States won't be happy if you invade Hokkaido. This might create some serious trouble. So in late June 28th, it's decided, okay, we'll only invade Manchuria, Sakhalin, and the Kuril Islands. So then a bit forward, on the 9th of August, the Manchuria invasion happens. And then on the 15th of August, the surrender speech by the emperor happens. As such, in Manchuria, some or quite a lot, Japanese troops start to surrender. Not all of them, but they start to surrender in sufficient numbers. As such, Stalin says, okay, there's a new opportunity. We could do now a landing because the resistance is less and we have new troops available. So on the 18th of August, he orders an operation against Hokkaido with just 2 divisions and 1 naval infantry battalion. And the target is the remote port of Rumui. Now, why Rumui? Well, they had almost no assault shipping, they had a small amount of artillery and supplies, there was no time for bringing armor, and also naval fire support was lacking and no fighter cover. So they choose this location because they know, okay, there's only limited defense there and we can get the basics done and maybe take the port. Yet at the same time, we have the other 2 invasions already going on. So on the 11th of August, the invasion of Sakhalin started, and on the 18th of August, the invasion of the Kuril Islands started. So, and they saw how they developed, and there was a fierce resistance by the Japanese there. And especially in one location, they had 16 LCIs, landing ships from the Allies there, and they delivered the second wave. And then they lost 5 of the 16 ships involved. And they had a total of around 30. So basically they lost a lot of ships very early on, and the resistance was rather stiff. And so on, these were also remote places. These were not the home islands yet. These were the Kuril Islands and Sakhalin Island, which are further to the north. So it was rather obvious that the resistance of Hokkaido would be far worse. Now, Stalin, seeing these problems going on as such, he pulls back on the order on the 22nd of August. Because another problem was that the staging areas, the ports in Manchuria, were still in Japanese hands. Now, of course, the what-if question: what would have happened if the Soviets had invaded Hokkaido at Rumoi? One issue was the Japanese were already alerted because the other 2 invasions. And in total, later on, the US Corps demobilized around 290,000 men on the island. So as such, Giangreco concludes that the Soviets likely would take the port, but then they would be besieged because the Japanese would move in troops from all around the area and besiege the port. Yet unlike in Stalingrad, where it was just a river, just the Volga to put over more reinforcements and everything else, here there was the Sea of Japan. And the distance was quite extensive. Additionally, the ships of the Soviet fleet were far less. And of course, there were kamikaze planes available to a certain degree on Hokkaido as well. And this would have likely been a very bad situation, because if they are besieged in this port and then the negotiation starts and they get basically rescued to a certain degree by US forces or whatever would happen, it's not an ideal situation, especially not because the United Kingdom and United States wouldn't be very happy that they tried to stage an invasion. And so everything was called off. What really happened is on the 28th of August, the US occupation of Japan began. So to summarize, there was an intention there to put troops on Hokkaido, yet both politically and military it was not really feasible. You need to remember, amphibious operations are hard. And Giangreco makes a very good point. If you look at the after-action report of one of the invasions the Soviets conducted, and you replace a few words, it reads very similar to the US Marine invasion of Tarawa in 1943. And with amphibious invasions, a lot of learning has to be done. Now, a big thank you here to Naval Institute Press for providing a complimentary copy of Assault from the Sea, a book I could use very well in this video. And also a big thank you to all my Patreons. Thank you for watching and see you next time.